What if I told you that one of Japan's most iconic voices, someone who sold millions of records and reshaped J-pop, forever once doubted her own voice? What if this superstar, despite her fame, battled depression, identity crises, and even walked away from the spotlight at the height of her career? In today's episode, you'll not only learn about the fascinating life of Hikaru Utada, but you'll also improve your English listening and vocabulary skills. And stay until the end. We'll break down 3 key grammar points from today's story. Part 1. A Star is Born. Hikaru Utada was born on the 19th of January, 1983 in New York City. Her father, Teruzane Utada, was a Japanese record producer, and her mother, Keiko Fuji, was a well-known enka singer in Japan. In other words, music was in her blood from the very beginning. Growing up bilingual in both English and Japanese, Hikaru lived between Tokyo and New York. This gave her not just 2 languages, but also 2 very different worldviews. She was raised in studios, watching her mother record songs and her father produce them. At the age of 10, she wrote her first lyrics. At 13, she released an English language album under the name Cubic U in the US, though it failed commercially. But in hindsight, that failure would set the stage for her massive success later on. Part 2. The Explosion of First Love. In 1999, at just 15 years old, Hikaru Utada released her Japanese debut album, First Love. It was an instant hit actually, a cultural explosion. The album sold over 10 million copies, becoming the best-selling album in Japanese history. Her soft, yet powerful voice, combined with Western R&B influences and heartfelt lyrics, captured the emotions of an entire generation. Songs like Automatic, First Love, and Movin' On Without You became anthems. What made Utada stand out was not just her talent, but her authenticity. She wasn't trying to be cute or follow pop trends. She was being herself. That honesty resonated. She was suddenly everywhere on television, in magazines, and in commercials. But even at the height of her fame, she remained shy and introverted. Fame, for her, was never the goal. Music was. Part 3. A Life Between Worlds. While most J-pop stars focused on Japan, Utada had her eyes on the world. She returned to the US and enrolled at Columbia University. She was determined to experience normal college life, far from the flashing lights of the music industry. But she never truly escaped. In 2004, she released her first full English-language album, Exodus, produced in part by Timbaland. Though critically praised, it struggled commercially in the West. Many said her music was too intelligent or too emotional for mainstream pop. That comment reveals a lot. Utada was never interested in catchy, shallow music. She sang about isolation, trauma, and love-a-knot in the glittering, romantic sense, but in a raw, sometimes painful way. She was a cultural bridging artist who didn't fit neatly into Western or Japanese pop molds, and that, perhaps, was her greatest strength and biggest challenge. Part 4. Pain Behind the Voice. Fame and pressure took a toll. In the mid-2000s, Utada began speaking openly about her mental health struggles. She battled depression, the pressure of being in the spotlight, and a deep sense of loneliness. Her mother, Keiko Fuji, had her own mental health issues and died by suicide in 2013. The tragedy shook Utada to her core. Even before that loss, she had already decided to step away. In 2010, at the height of her career, she announced a hiatus. She wanted to live life as a normal person, to do things like buy groceries, fall in love, and grow outside the spotlight. For many artists, this would be career suicide. For Utada, it was self-preservation. Part 5. Rebirth and Return. In 2016, after a 6-year break, Hikaru Utada returned with the album Fantôme. It was deeply personal and hauntingly beautiful. The album was a tribute to her mother, her own journey through grief, and her growth as a human being. Songs like Manatsu no Turiyame and Hanataba wo Kimi ni moved listeners to tears. And something had changed. Her voice was more mature, her lyrics even more vulnerable, and her presence calmer. She had not just returned as an artist, she had transformed into a storyteller of the soul. In 2022, she released Bad Mode, which mixed Japanese and English tracks. She also came out publicly as non-binary, using they/them pronouns in English and embracing their identity with the same courage they had always shown in their music. Bonus chapter. Utada, Kingdom Hearts. For many Western fans, Utada Hikaru's name became known thanks to a video game, Kingdom Hearts. Her songs Simple and Clean and Sanctuary became iconic themes of the franchise. These weren't just background music, they were emotional anchors. Millions of players around the world, many of them children at the time, heard her voice before they even knew her name. Through this, she quietly became one of the few Japanese artists with a global cult following, without trying to be a global pop star. Legacy and influence. Today, Hikaru Utada is considered one of the most influential Japanese artists of all time. She has sold over 37 million records. More importantly, she changed what J-pop could be. Before her, idols were polished, smiley, and often scripted. After her, artists had more space to be authentic, vulnerable, and real. She proved that you can be shy and still be strong, that you can be soft-spoken and still shake the world. Her fans love her not just because of her voice, but because she gives them courage to feel, to cry, to grow, and to be themselves. Grammar lesson. Let's learn English. Here are 3 sentences from the story, and what you can learn from them. 1. Even at the height of her fame, she remained shy and introverted. Grammar point. Even at is a time prepositional phrase emphasizing contrast. Usage tip. Use even at to highlight how something stays the same during surprising situations. Example: even at 90 years old, she goes jogging every morning. 2. She had not just returned as an artist, she had transformed into a storyteller of the soul. Grammar point. Not just, but is a strong comparison structure. Usage tip. Use it to show how someone exceeded expectations. Example: he's not just a teacher, He's an inspiration. 3. That honesty resonated. Grammar point. Resonate is a powerful verb, meaning to deeply connect emotionally. Usage tip. Use it to describe when something strikes a personal chord. Example. Her speech about loss really resonated with the audience. Summary. What you learned today. In today's video, you heard the life story of one of Japan's greatest musicians, Hikaru Utada. You learned about her rise, her struggles, her transformation, and her lasting influence. You also practiced English listening and grammar with real, emotional language. And maybe, just maybe, you found a little inspiration for your own journey too.